watch this video, all I ask that you do is relax your mind a little bit to let your imagination come out so you can enjoy this video so much more. You're about to see just how Six Flags Great Adventure could have turned this into this, making Kingda Ka the best roller coaster along the entire East Coast. November 10th, 2024 was a day that we will never forget. That was the day that the new Six Flags decided to rip our hearts out and close down Kingda Ka forever. And while everyone knows that this decision was a load of horse shit with a capital S, here is what Six Flags should have done with Kingda Ka and the area around it. My name is Brandon and welcome to my channel, Theme Park Brandon. I'm really glad you're here. And first up, I honestly blame Zamperla for the removal of Kingda Ka. Now hear me out. Cedar Fair, I need to say this. You guys do a lot of great things right. However, the one thing that you guys suck at is holding on little grudges forever with the other coaster manufacturers. Because you and everyone else knows that you should have called up Intamin to reimagine Kingda Ka, let alone top Thrill Dragster. But instead, we now have one Strata Coaster getting removed while the other one has only operated 6 days in 2024. Good times. That is not acceptable. So in reality, Zamperla is kind of responsible for potentially killing both Strata Coasters here in America. Now here's the thing, if Zamperla was able to get Top Thrill 2 running for 7 or more days at least in 2025, Kingda Ka might have had a chance of getting reimagined. Now clearly I'm being sarcastic in regards to the whole 7 days thing, but you catch my drift. So the execs at Cedar Fair should have gotten their head out of their butts and called up Intamin for honestly both projects, but especially Kingda Ka. Because here's the truth. If Cedar Fair wanted to make this coaster work out, they could have easily have done so. Intamin would have created something special with this project that could have given Great Adventure yet another top 10 worthy roller coaster. And coming up here in a few, I'm going to share with you in detail a layout of just how insane Intamin could have made Kingda Ka. Now the odd thing is this, the new Six Flags decided very quickly to remove Kingda Ka, instead of doing more in-depth research and trying to find a better and more affordable solution. And look, I do hate that they removed Kingda Ka, I really do, but let's face it, the coaster costs a ton of money to operate each year, and the whole maintenance issues and the safety and reliability that this coaster offers. I understand, and most importantly, I respect the decision to close the ride forever. However, I do not respect how they handled the situation. Six Flags could have and should have given the world's tallest and fastest operating coaster the proper send-off that it honestly deserves. But sadly, that obviously was not the case. Or heck, maybe even look over and compare some bids from other manufacturers out there when it comes to reimagining the coaster. But in Six Flags' credit, and I did predict this in a video about a month ago, that they would and should announce that they will replace the coaster with something special. And sure enough, that is the case. And Six Flags announced that they will be building a new record-breaking launch coaster to replace Kingda Ka, and not reimagining it. It really is sad to say, but the structure will be getting torn down. However, the amazing news for Great Adventure is that this new coaster will be opening in 2026, which means that this project will be coming together rather quickly. Now here's something that I do not quite understand the logic behind for this project. Am I the only one out there that thinks it's a little bit odd that Six Flags Great Adventure is going to replace Kingda Ka, yet a record-breaking launch coaster, we're talking the fastest and tallest when it opened, with an all-new record-breaking launch coaster in 2026, 21 years later? In my opinion, that is not a smart business move at all when it comes to the guests comparing this coaster to Kingda Ka. This decision makes it much easier for the GP to be upset and or let down by this new attraction. So whatever the new coaster is, I hope it's something quite special since Great Adventure has already hyped this attraction up already. But you will need a massive shoe to fill the void of Kingda Ka. Now before I share with you the layout that would give Great Adventure the best coaster along the entire East Coast in America, I just uploaded a bunch of new merch to keepridingcoasters.com, including my favorite piece, my Long Live the King tee. And you can find this in hoodies, women's, kids, coffee mugs, tank tops, you name it. So if you want some comfortable and affordable coaster gear, then check out these designs and much others again on keepridingcoasters.com, and I really do appreciate all the support. After riding Top Thrill 2 multiple times, Zamperla did a fantastic job on the coaster when it was open. So I would have been totally fine if the new Six Flags hired Zamperla to also reimagine Kingda Ka, the coaster that is 36 feet taller than Top Thrill 2. But fast forward to our point in time, and the new Six Flags would rather remove one of the world's most iconic coasters than let Intamin work their magic on it. And with that in mind, it begs the question, how could Intamin have made Kingda Ka the best coaster on the East Coast and do so while cutting some of the annual maintenance costs associated with the Strata Coaster? Well, to start, just like the conversion of Top Thrill Dragster to Top Thrill 2, we would have seen the hydraulic launch get replaced with a new LSM launch system. That's the obvious one. Now the only problem with this is that Kingda Ka launched its riders 0 to 128 miles an hour in just 3.5 seconds compared to Top Thrill Dragster launching them from 0 to 120 in 4 seconds. So the train on the new Kingda Ka would have to have enough velocity from the LSMs to make it over the top hat every single time. And the easiest and most cost-effective way to have done this would have been adding sets of LSMs beyond the original launch and a few that would be located on the slope track that leads into the top hat. This simple change would prevent the coaster from ever rolling back and make the launch even longer than the original. From there, the coaster would travel up and over the top hat before spiraling downwards into the new second half of Ka. And just like Top Thrill 2, this new version of Kingda Ka would obviously have the better trains from Intamin. As the train pulls out of the top hat, this is where the king of all coasters would always keep that title due to how insane the extended layout would be. The first element you're going to enter would be a 275 foot tall airtime hill, providing riders amazing views of Great Adventure to go along with some great airtime. As the train descends back towards the ground, the next element is going to be the coaster's first inversion, which would be a 240 foot tall Immelman inversion element. Now the really cool thing about this element is that it would have become the tallest inversion in the entire world. Yet another record to slap on this new version of Kingda Ka. Following the massive inversion, the new Kingda Ka would throw riders upside down yet again into yet another record-breaking inversion, and that would be a 200 foot tall stall inversion, providing riders ample hang time as you get great views of El Toro straight ahead as you're upside down. Now obviously a stall of this size would instantly make it the best of its kind on the entire planet. As riders are hanging upside down for around 3 seconds through this inversion, you then dive out of it, cut to the left, and into a 130 foot tall overbank turn. This is the moment that's really going to capture the sense of speed the train still has at this point of the layout. The next element would be a 90 foot tall speed hill that would provide some great ejector airtime, followed by a 60 foot tall 0G roll that leads right into the brake run. The element sequence of the overbank, speed hill, and then the 0G roll honestly just sounds sick, and I really wish this coaster would get built, because traveling through this low to the ground inversion would become one of the main highlights of this new coaster just because of how fast the train travels through it. The new reimagined Kingda Ka would make it the first roller coaster in the entire world to feature 4 elements over 200 feet tall, which honestly, let's face it, is just insane. With such an epic coaster being extended at Great Adventure would only mean that this park, located in Jackson, New Jersey, would be seeing a huge uptick in attendance. And replacing the not so enjoyable Green Lantern stand-up coaster would make the perfect spot for the all-new Great Adventure Lodge, a massive new 250-room hotel that would have its own entrance into Great Adventure. These 2 additions would really help transform Six Flags Great Adventure into a top-tier park and resort within the Six Flags lineup of parks. Another benefit of this, the Zumanjaro drop tower would stay open as well. Six Flags Great Adventure ripped Kingda Ka out of our lives in the most unthinkable way possible. So it really is tough not to think about what if. What if Zamperla was able to make Top Thrill 2 more reliable? What if Six Flags would get their head out of their own way and work with Intamin again? And finally, what if Kingda Ka had been transformed into a monstrous of a coaster that would continue to keep the legend of the coaster around for decades and decades? Now, I have been lucky enough to be able to ride over 400 different roller coasters, and I do love Kingda Ka, but especially El Toro. And if you are curious as to how I rank the top 25 coasters that I've ever ridden, a list that does include Top Thrill 2, then you have to check out the video at the bottom of your screen. With that being said, what are your thoughts regarding Six Flags not even trying to reimagine Kingda Ka, and what do you think about my reimagined layout? You know what to do, let me know in the comments. As always, this is Theme Park Brandon. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.